My girlfriend's dad hit someone with his car, then killed himself to avoid getting arrested and left behind a mountain of debt. To help her pay it off, I started working insane hours as a food delivery driver. I'm talking less than 4 hours of sleep a night just to pick up more orders. So there I am, finishing up a delivery at a hotel, when this guy in a bathrobe opens the door, hickeys all over his neck. Then a girl in a skimpy nightgown wraps her arms around him from behind. "Baby, I'm starving after everything you just put me through. Grab the food already." I just froze. The bag slipped right out of my hand and hit the floor. She stepped back, looking annoyed. "Great, now how are we supposed to eat this?" Then she kicked the bag at me. Grease went all over my clothes. I still couldn't move, because that woman was Irene Swenson, my girlfriend, the one I was about to propose to. "Hey kid, you should get out of here quick once you're done. That girl's got a real nasty temper." An older janitor pushing her cart stopped to give me a heads up. I looked at her, confused. She lowered her voice. "You know Swenson Group? They own this hotel and pretty much every shop and building on this whole street." Then I glanced into her trash cart. It was loaded with used condoms. Just a few days ago, I was pumped that my little breakfast shop was finally picking up, thinking I could finally afford to buy Irene some decent clothes. And now I'm finding out her family owns half the city? I kept thinking about all those mornings she'd come help me at the shop mixing pancake batter, rolling dough, laughing and chatting like it was the most natural thing in the world. We'd even talked about buying a small secondhand apartment in the suburbs after we got married. But she was a rich heiress this whole time, and she had another guy on the side. So what was I to her? A joke? I was standing outside the door, trying to decide if I should knock again, when a group of her friends walked by talking among themselves. "Seriously, how long has Irene been in there with Kevin Pickett? She's not going to be able to walk after this. You think she's the same way with that loser who runs the breakfast place? That loser." So that's what they all thought of me. And from the way they were laughing, it was clear this wasn't the first time. A little while later, Irene swung the door open and shot a glare at her friends. "What are you all looking at? I told you not to bother me." They awkwardly laughed it off. "We just wanted to see your fiancé. We'd never try to steal him. We were just going to invite him to that new bar nearby." Irene slammed the door. A few minutes later, she came back out fully dressed, holding hands with a guy I could only assume was Kevin. I ducked behind the emergency exit and watched, barely able to stand. My eyes were stinging. I should have walked right up to her and demanded answers, but I couldn't. My phone kept buzzing with new delivery orders, so I swallowed everything I was feeling, pulled myself together, and headed back out. On my way to my bike, I accidentally nicked a luxury car parked out front. It was Irene's car. She was sitting in the driver's seat looking effortlessly cool. I could see the little mole at the corner of her eye just like always. One hand on the wheel, the other holding Kevin's hand. Kevin smiled at me. "You're the delivery guy from earlier, right? My girlfriend already messed up your clothes, and you scratched my car. Let's just call it even. You're free to go." Irene glanced at me for half a second. Like my boyfriend said, "Get out of my face. You won't be so lucky next time." She didn't recognize me. I always wore a mask and kept my cap pulled down low when I was on deliveries. She drove off. I sat on my scooter and watched her go, staring at her vintage license plate, which alone probably cost more than a house in the suburbs. Not that long ago, she was lying on a secondhand mattress with me in our tiny apartment. "Justin, once I've paid off all my debt, I'm buying you a car. No more getting soaked in the rain." And now she was pulling away in a car worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. When I got home, I looked up Swenson Group online. The chairman was Joe Swenson, Irene's dad. Her dad wasn't dead. He was one of the richest men in the whole city. What else had she lied to me about? Later that night, I heard the lock turn. Irene walked in wearing the cheap dress I bought her on sale for less than $10.